actually ever told most often begin with, "So I got drunk at an auction." And my story tonight is no exception. My journey with Innovators Network started in 2014. My husband Jeremy and I attended the Hutch Holiday Gala to support some friends who were being honored. Amongst the bow ties and the ball gowns, we became curious about the groundbreaking research happening right here in our backyard. Young and eager, we raised our paddle to support the Hutch. And while the opening giving level was $1 million, little beyond us, we waited patiently until the auctioneer reached the $1,000 level. At the time, it was a big stretch for us, but we felt right, so we raised our bid number high. We left that evening giddy from the wine and the realization that we had joined something big. We had no idea what was in store. A week later, we got a call notifying us that we were in. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, in where? In what? In the club, let's go. But rather than donning my disco boots, I decided to find out more. What we learned was that Jeremy and I were now card-carrying members of Innovators Network. Once I understood their mission of supporting high-risk, high-reward research to help cure cancer faster, I was totally in. As we attended happy hours and networking events, my passion for Fred Hutch and Innovators Network grew. After attending our first In for the Hutch, commonly known as the Party with a Purpose, I knew I had found my home. I dug deeper, I joined the council, I invited our community to events, and I even won the raffle one year, which is why I still wear my lucky diamond ring. Feeling part of something bigger not only brought me joy, but also a sense of paying it forward. With our collective funds, we supported research leading to amazing discoveries, like identifying new drivers for lung cancer in women who have never smoked. Together, we movers and shakers were making a difference. And while we learned about Fred Hutch's revolutionary research, I had no idea how personal it would become. In 2020, during the pandemic, while routine mammograms dropped by 80%, I was one of those few women who kept up with her exams. After a routine physical and subsequent mammogram, I headed back to my car. Before I could open the door, my phone rang. It was the radiology department calling me back for an ultrasound. I was in total shock. However, I went through all the steps, from the mammogram screening to the ultrasound to the biopsy and ultimately to the call. It was December 23rd at 8:35 p.m. The evening had started in pure joy. You see, it was the first time that I had been together in person, unmasked, with my extended family for nearly 9 months. After a rigorous protocol of quarantining and testing, we were finally together, able to hug each other in person, indoors, unmasked. At the end of the night, as we drove home, admiring the holiday lights, White Christmas was playing on the radio when my phone rang. "Cassie, this is she. This is Dr. Javed. I'm sorry to call so late, but I wanted to reach out to you as soon as I had the results. You have stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma, breast cancer." The next days were a blur of test results, analysis, and ultimately a treatment plan. My first meeting with Fred Hutch was 5 hours long. Each doctor explained my case and my personalized treatment plan, a plan not based on one opinion, but a collective plan formed by their tumor board. You see, at Fred Hutch, specialists in surgery, oncology, radiation, pathology, and research collaborate to create custom treatment plans for each of their patients. This approach gave me the benefit of their collective knowledge and experience. Though the details of that day are foggy, I'll never forget when my new oncologist, Dr. Linden, turned to me and said, "You have the boring cancer." I'm like, excuse me, have you met me? I don't do boring. Nothing about that is boring. But in this case, boring meant there was nothing new or unknown about my cancer. A testament to the incredible advancements in their research. And thanks to Fred Hutch, relentless work, my treatment was far from what you might expect. After my lumpectomy and reconstruction, I went through 24 rounds of chemo, but the side effects were surprisingly manageable. I kept most of my hair, and I avoided the violent sickness you often hear about. And while I had daily radiation for 6 weeks, their virtual tattooing protocol meant no permanent marks some patients carry as a reminder. It was a full year of treatment, and while it wasn't easy, I'm deeply grateful to have had access to cutting-edge therapies. From screening to intervention, their advancements made it far less impactful than I expected. Now, thank you. I ask you to join me in raising a glass to table number 8, filled with my amazing all-female kick-ass team of doctors. To Dr. Hannah Linden, who assured me I had the boring cancer. To Dr. Janice Kim, don't tell Dr. Linden this, who told me I'd be okay even if I didn't finish all of my chemo. To Dr. Sarah Javid, who found cancer in my lymph nodes and eradicated it. And to Dr. Shannon Colahan, who gave me the most beautiful perky breasts in this room. Before I leave you tonight, I want to emphasize something really important. My survival started with a routine mammogram, not because I felt something, not because my doctor found something, but because of the power of accessible screening. That mammogram saved my life. Had it not been for that screening, my aggressive cancer might have gone undetected. Your financial support tonight doesn't mean just funding research. It creates access. It ensures more people have the chance to detect their cancer early, just like me. Imagine a world where all cancers are found early and treated with precision, where every diagnosis is as boring as mine. So tonight I ask you to give big, not just for the promise of a cure, but for the chance to make cancer boring, less invasive, and more survivable. Together, we can turn devastating diagnoses into something predictable, treatable, and ultimately boring. Let's make that our future. Cheers.